Here, Big Red Liquors, and actually I'm here today with the head brewer, Dave Yancey, here in Bargersville at Taxman, and we have just pulled off the Bright Tank, the no-sparge beer. So like if you've ever, well, this is like the best way to actually drink beer because it'll never be more fresh than this.
That's true.
Tell us a little bit about the fermentation, and then we'll talk back on what's actually in the beer here.
So this is fermented with a Norwegian yeast strain. It ferments hot. This was at 98 degrees. It ferments hot and pretty quick. It creates nice fruit notes, kind of tropical mango a little bit in there.
For a beer that's not a stout, that's got the biggest, kind of creamiest mouthfeel of a beer that I've tasted. What is the technical style of this beer?
So
an ale, golden ale?
Yeah, a Belgian golden strong kind of Belgian golden ale. No sparge method, so super smooth. No.
So like when we say no sparge, what basically all we're doing is we're just trying to get the water to go through as minimally as possible through that grain bed, pick up all of those like first run sugars. Mm-hmm. It's not picking up any of like the bitterness from the husk or anything like that. Right. It's just the pure sugar.
Yeah, we put all the grain in and all the water in. We extract the sweet wort and we boil that and make beer out of it. We don't sparge it. There's no water coming through after, which is where you get the extraction of those harsh flavors sometimes.
You're not watering anything down. No. This is the purest form of basically converting malt into sugar into alcohol with not a lot of editing in between. All right, so talk about the hops a little bit, because there's not a lot of hops here, but that's okay.
Yeah, we used Michigan Chinook, and we used Opal as well in this beer. The Michigan Chinook gives it a little bit, it's a little bit different than your West Coast Chinook, not quite as piney, more like a pineapple than a piney, which is why I wanted to pair that with the Norwegian yeast strain that throws off these kind of big tropical flavors as well. So that with that Pilsner, a little bit of Munich in the malt bill, but it's really it's a nice Pilsner malt, super clean. You get that smooth, no sparge, and then nice fruity character from the yeast of the hops.
And then talk a little bit about the color, because obviously, like, and this may just be the Bright Tank hasn't. There's probably some sediment in here that hasn't settled, but it'll have that kind of hazy, opaque.
We may keep a little bit of haze in here. Yeah. The yeast does tend to stay a little bit hazy. Some of this is probably also just some chill haze still. It's in the Bright Tank, so we're still in the process of brighting the beer, is what we call it, Bright Tank. So it'll clarify a little bit as we go.
Yeah, I couldn't be more serious. This is like drinking a glass of milk. It's got that intense of a mouthfeel to it. And I'll hold up the color here so people can see. It's a gorgeous color. My God.
At 12%, it's
12%.
It doesn't taste like it.
12%, drinks like a 6%. So creamy, so rich. A lot of holiday beers, I know it's September, but it'll be December before we know it. Mm-hmm. A lot of holiday beers are all spiced up and they add a lot of extra stuff into the mash. Mm-hmm. I think this would be like the beer I would drink on Christmas Eve. There's no spice here. It's just pure malt. It's as pure of a beer as possible, and that's really what we wanted to do. Dave, this is like my 60th private label project that I've done. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've been happier with the final product than this. This is unbelievable. It's too bad that you can't drink that many in one sitting, or you better stay home. This is just out of this world. So, do you think it'll taste? This is pretty much what people are going to get out of the can.
Yes.
With maybe a little bit more settling, but still it's going to be that full body flavor.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we'll get a little bit. It'll clear up a tiny bit. We actually might, as the yeast finishes to settle out, so a little bit of bitterness will go away. Not that it's really bitter, but it'll probably get a little bit more smooth actually as it brightens out.
Oh my God. And I mean, to remind people, the reason that people don't do no-sparge beer is that it's terribly expensive. I mean, you're wasting a ton of sugar But to get that sugar, you have to keep running the water through the grain bed. So it's like using a tea bag for the 4th or 5th time, where you're getting tea flavor, but you're also getting the bitterness with it, which with a good brewer, obviously you're balancing all that out. But when you do this, again, financially, very stupid, but from a flavor standpoint, that free run, no sparge malt juice is, God, it's an amazing result. So this is great, man.
We probably could have run water through the grain after we extracted all of this wort and made another beer after. It would have just been, it wouldn't have been that great of a beer, but it would have been beer. It had enough sugar left in, no problem.
Right. So like you're leaving, in a brew pub, you're probably leaving couple thousand dollars worth of pints on the table.
Yeah.
That's why this beer is worth it. That's why it's really special. So glad you guys did this no sparge with us, and hopefully maybe you'll try other styles on no sparge, because this result
It was a fun project.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
All right, man. Cheers.
Cheers.